the smell of roasted turkey, Christmas music playing downstairs, laughter echoing through the house. Sounds like a perfect holiday, right? But I was not part of it. I was upstairs in a dark room surrounded by 7 screaming children. This was my Christmas for 12 years straight. Every single year while my family celebrated, I babysat. Last year, I finally said enough, and my sister Herminia thought she could punish me for it. She threatened to cut off my college funding, so I walked away from all of them. Before I share what happened, let me know where you are watching from today. Drop your location in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe if you have ever felt invisible in your own family. This story might just change how you see things. Now let me take you back to where it all began. I grew up in a suburb of Ohio in a middle-class family that looked perfect from the outside. My father, Harold, worked as an accountant. My mother, Diane, stayed at home until I started school, then took a part-time job at a local boutique. We had a nice house, 2 cars, and a big backyard. The American dream, or so it seemed. But here's the thing about my family. I was never really part of it. Not in the way that mattered. My sister Herminia is 8 years older than me. She was the golden child. Beautiful, smart, popular. She graduated top of her class, went to a prestigious university, and married Marcus, a man who works in finance and makes more money in a month than most people see in a year. Herminia was everything my parents wanted in a child. Then there is my brother Derek, 5 years older than me. He followed a similar path. Good grades, stable job, married young, had kids. He was the reliable one, the son who never caused trouble. And then there was me. The accident. The surprise. The child my mother had at 42 years old when she thought her parenting days were over. My parents never let me forget that I was unplanned. They did not say it with cruelty, but they said it often enough that I understood my place in the family hierarchy. By the time I was old enough to form memories, Herminia was already in college. Derek was in high school, too cool to hang out with his baby brother. I grew up essentially as an only child, but without any of the attention only children usually receive. My parents were tired. They had already raised 2 kids and did not have much energy left for a third. I learned to take care of myself early. I made my own breakfast by age 7. I walked to school alone by age 8. I did my homework without anyone checking it. I never complained because I thought this was normal. I thought if I was good enough, quiet enough, helpful enough, eventually they would notice me. Eventually, I would earn my place at the table. That hope kept me going through elementary school and into middle school. I believed that one day, things would change. One day, I would be seen as an equal member of the family. I was 12 years old when that hope started to die. It was Christmas Eve. Herminia had come home with her husband Marcus and their newborn daughter Brittany. The house was decorated beautifully. A huge tree in the living room, lights everywhere, the smell of my mother's famous apple pie baking in the oven. I was excited. This was going to be the best Christmas ever. The adults gathered in the living room, drinking wine, laughing, catching up. I sat on the edge of the couch trying to be part of the conversation. But nobody really talked to me. I was just the kid, the background noise. Then Brittany started crying. Herminia looked around the room and her eyes landed on me. She smiled that smile I would come to know so well over the years. The smile that looked sweet, but was actually a command. "Hey, little brother," she said. "You are so good with babies. Can you take Brittany upstairs for a bit? Just rock her until she falls asleep." I wanted to say no. I wanted to stay downstairs and be part of the celebration. But everyone was looking at me, waiting. My mother nodded encouragingly. My father barely glanced up from his conversation with Marcus. "Sure," I said. Because what else could I say? I carried Brittany upstairs to the guest room. I rocked her for over an hour before she finally fell asleep. By the time I came back down, dinner was over. The turkey was carved, the plates were dirty, and everyone was sitting around with full bellies laughing at stories I had not heard. "Oh, there you are," my mother said. "There is some food left in the kitchen if you are hungry." I ate alone that night. Cold turkey, cold mashed potatoes, cold gravy. I told myself it was just one time. Next year would be different. But next year was not different. It was worse. The following Christmas, Derek had his first child too. Now there were 2 babies to watch. And somehow, without anyone ever officially deciding it, babysitting became my job. Not a request. An expectation. Year after year, the pattern repeated. More children were born. Herminia had 2 more kids, a boy named Jason and another girl named Taylor. Derek had 3 altogether twin boys named Austin and Brady, and a daughter named Kayla. 7 children in total. And every Christmas, while the adults celebrated downstairs, I was locked away in an upstairs room with all of them. At 13, I missed Christmas dinner to change diapers and warm bottles. At 15, I missed opening presents with the family because Jason threw a tantrum and I had to calm him down. At 17, my girlfriend broke up with me because I could never spend Christmas Eve with her. She said I always had family obligations. She did not understand that those obligations meant being a free babysitter while my actual family pretended I did not exist. The worst part was watching Herminia transform over the years. In the beginning, at least, she asked, "Can you watch the kids?" Eventually, it became, "You will watch the kids." And finally, it was just, "Take them upstairs." Not even a complete sentence. Just a command like I was the hired help. I remember one Christmas when I was 16. I stood at the top of the stairs holding Taylor, who had just spit up on my shirt. Down below, I could see everyone gathered around the tree. Herminia was posing for a family photo, her perfect smile gleaming. Marcus had his arm around her. My parents stood proudly beside them. Derek and his wife were there too, everyone looking festive and happy. No one looked up. No one noticed I was missing from the picture. That was the moment I realized something painful. They did not forget about me. They simply did not care. Herminia's comments grew more cutting over the years. "You do not have a family of your own, so this is perfect for you. You should be grateful we give you something to do. This is how you contribute since you cannot contribute financially." That last one stung the most. It was true that I was not wealthy like Herminia or stable like Derek. I went to community college because I could not afford a 4-year university. I worked part-time jobs to pay for my own textbooks and transportation. But I was trying. I was working hard to build a future. And all they saw was someone to dump their kids on. I tried to push back a few times. At 19, I gathered my courage and told my mother I wanted to join the adults for dinner. "Who will watch the children?" she asked, as if the answer was obvious. "Maybe we could hire someone or take turns." Herminia laughed from across the room. "Hire someone for one night? That is ridiculous. Besides, you are already here." My father did not even look up from his newspaper. "Just help out, son. Do not make this complicated." At 21, I tried again. I offered to pay for a babysitter myself. Derek actually laughed out loud. "Why would we pay for something we can get for free?" he said. Free. That is all I was to them. Free labor. At 23, I was more direct. I walked into the kitchen where my mother was preparing food and said plainly, "I do not want to babysit this year." The room went silent. Herminia, who was arranging flowers on the dining table, stopped mid-motion. My father lowered his reading glasses and stared at me. "Excuse me," Herminia said. "I want to be part of Christmas. Actually part of it. Sitting at the table, eating with everyone being included." My mother's face crumpled. "How can you be so selfish after everything we have done for you?" "Done for me," I repeated. "What exactly have you done for me?" But I did not push further. I saw the disappointment in their eyes, the way they looked at me like I was a stranger causing trouble in their perfect holiday. I backed down. I went upstairs with the kids. I ate cold leftovers again. That night I promised myself it would be the last time. But the next year, I broke that promise. Old habits die hard when they are built on a lifetime of seeking approval you will never receive. Last Christmas changed everything. I was 24 years old. I had just finished my associate degree and was working toward my bachelor's at a state university. I was exhausted. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3, to pay my bills. I barely slept. I barely ate proper meals. But I was building something for myself, something that had nothing to do with my family. And I had met someone. Her name was Samantha. She was kind, funny, and she actually listened when I talked. She could not believe the stories I told her about my family. "That is not normal," she kept saying. "You know that is not normal, right?" For the first time, I started to believe her. Samantha invited me to spend Christmas with her family. They lived in Michigan, about 4 hours from my parents' house. I imagined it a Christmas where I could actually sit at the table, eat hot food, be part of conversations. It sounded like a fantasy. I called my mother to tell her I would not be coming home. "What do you mean you are not coming?" Her voice was sharp with disbelief. "I am spending Christmas with my girlfriend's family this year." "Girlfriend? Since when do you have a girlfriend? Bring her here. But you still need to watch the children." There it was. Even with a guest, even with a legitimate reason to be treated like an adult, my role was already decided. I was the babysitter. Nothing more. "No, Mom. I am not babysitting this year." The silence on the phone was deafening. Then she said, "We will discuss this when you get here." 20 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Herminia. "What is this I hear about you refusing to come home?" Her voice was cold, controlled. "I said I am not babysitting anymore. I will come to visit, but I will not spend another Christmas locked in a room with 7 kids while everyone else has fun." "And who exactly is supposed to watch them?" "Hire someone. Or watch them yourself. They are your children." Herminia laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You are going to regret this," she said. "You have no idea what you are doing." "I know exactly what I am doing. For the first time in 12 years. I hung up before she could respond. Against my better judgment, I decided to go home anyway. I wanted to prove a point. I wanted to show them I could stand my ground. Samantha agreed to come with me for moral support. Walking into that house on Christmas Day was like walking into a battlefield. My mother barely hugged me. My father shook my hand like I was a distant acquaintance. Derek pretended I was invisible. And Herminia looked at Samantha like she was an insect that had crawled into her perfect home. The 7 children ran around the house already wild with holiday excitement. I felt the familiar pull, the expectation that I would gather them up and disappear. When dinner was ready, everyone moved toward the dining room. I took a seat at the table. "What are you doing?" Herminia asked, her voice sharp. "Sitting down for dinner. The children need to be supervised." "Then supervise them." The table went quiet. Everyone stared at me like I had just spoken a foreign language. Herminia's face turned red. "Who do you think you are? You have contributed nothing to this family. Nothing. The least you can do is watch the kids for a few hours so the adults can enjoy their holiday." Something inside me snapped. 12 years of cold dinners, missed memories, and invisible pain came pouring out. "I have babysat for 12 years, Herminia. 12 years without a single Christmas where I got to be part of this family. I never complained. I never asked for anything. But I am done. I am done being the family servant." My mother started crying. "You are ruining Christmas." "No," I said. "Christmas was ruined for me a long time ago. I just did not realize it until now." Samantha spoke up. "I have heard what he has been through. This is not about being ungrateful. This is about being treated like a human being." Herminia turned her venom toward Samantha. "Who are you to speak about our family? You know nothing about us." "I know enough," Samantha said calmly. "I know that someone who loves you does not make you feel worthless." Dinner was a disaster. I barely ate. The tension was suffocating. My father refused to look at me. My mother kept wiping tears. Derek muttered something about me always being the problem child. After dinner, as Samantha and I were getting ready to leave, Herminia cornered me in the hallway. "You think you have won something?" she hissed. "Let me tell you something you do not know. That college you are attending, the one you think you are paying for yourself. Mom asked me to help. I have been sending money for the past 2 years. Without me, you would have dropped out." I felt the floor shift beneath me. "What? Mom never told you because she knew you would feel guilty. But now I am telling you because I want you to understand exactly what is at stake." Herminia leaned closer. "If you continue this little rebellion, I will stop paying. You will have to drop out. Your precious degree will mean nothing. You are using money to control me. I am giving you a choice. Call me in 1 week. Apologize. Promise to fulfill your family duties from now on. And everything goes back to normal." She smiled that cold smile. "Or lose everything." I walked out of that house without another word. In the car, Samantha asked what Herminia had said. I told her everything. "So what are you going to do?" she asked. I stared at the road ahead, watching the Christmas lights blur past the window. I am not calling her. The months after that decision were the hardest of my life. Herminia was true to her word. The money stopped. I had to scramble to find emergency student loans. I picked up a third job delivering food on weekends. There were weeks when I survived on ramen noodles and free coffee from the campus library. My family did not reach out except to condemn me. My mother sent long text messages about how I had broken her heart. My father sent one email that simply said, "You are no longer welcome in this house until you apologize." Derek's wife sent a message on social media calling me selfish and ungrateful. I blocked them all. There were nights when I doubted myself. Lying alone in my tiny apartment staring at the ceiling, I wondered if I had made a terrible mistake. Maybe I should have just continued babysitting. Maybe the peace of conformity was better than the pain of standing alone. But then I would remember. 12 years of cold food. 12 years of being erased from family photos. 12 years of being told my only value was in serving others while they celebrated. No amount of money was worth that. 6 months after I walked away, something unexpected happened. One of my professors, Dr. Patterson, noticed that I was struggling. She asked me to stay after class one day and simply asked, "Are you okay?" I do not know why, but I told her everything. About my family, about the ultimatum, about working 3 jobs just to stay enrolled. Dr. Patterson listened without interrupting. Then she said, "There are scholarships for students in your situation. Let me help you apply." Over the next few weeks, she guided me through applications for need-based scholarships and research grants. By the end of the summer, I had received enough funding to cover most of my remaining tuition. I was able to quit one of my jobs. For the first time in months, I could breathe. Samantha stayed by my side through all of it. She never complained about our cheap dates or my exhausted moods. She just kept showing up, kept believing in me when I struggled to believe in myself. That next Christmas was my first without my biological family. Samantha took me to Michigan to meet her parents. Her mother made homemade lasagna because Samantha told her I had never had a real family Christmas dinner. Her father asked me about my studies, my goals, my dreams. Her younger brother challenged me to video games and actually let me win the first round. When we sat down to eat, I looked around the table. Everyone was there together. No one was banished upstairs. No one was invisible. I started crying right there at the dinner table. I could not help it. Samantha held my hand and did not say a word. She understood. A year has passed since I walked away from my family. I graduated with honors. I have a full-time job at a marketing firm now. I am paying off my student loans slowly but steadily. Samantha and I are talking about getting an apartment together. As for my biological family, I have heard bits and pieces from a distant cousin who still talks to me. Apparently, Herminia had to hire a professional babysitter last Christmas. It cost her $200 for the evening. She complained about it for weeks. My mother developed high blood pressure. My father still refuses to acknowledge he did anything wrong. Derek is going through a divorce and having financial troubles of his own. Last month, my mother sent me a message. "Can you please call me? I miss you." I stared at that message for a long time. I have not responded yet. I do not know if I will. Part of me wants to believe that people can change, that maybe my family has realized what they lost. But another part of me knows that some patterns are too deep to break. Some people only reach out when they need something. If I do ever speak to them again, it will be on my terms. It will be as an equal, not as the family servant. And if they cannot accept that, then the silence will continue. Here is what I have learned through all of this. Family is not just about blood. Family is about respect, love, and seeing each other as whole human beings. Sometimes the people who share your DNA are the ones who hurt you the most. And sometimes the real family you need is out there waiting for you to find them. I do not hate my parents or my siblings. Hatred takes too much energy, and I have spent enough of my life exhausted. But I have set boundaries. I have chosen peace over approval. And for the first time in my life, I am spending the holidays actually celebrating, not hiding in a dark room with someone else's children. This Christmas, Samantha and I are decorating our own little apartment. We bought a small tree and some cheap ornaments. It is not fancy, but it is ours. I hung a small sign by the door that says, "Home is where love is." For 12 years, I thought home was a place I had to earn by being useful. Now I know that home is a place where you are valued just for being yourself. If you are watching this and you feel invisible in your own family, I want you to know something. You deserve better. You deserve a seat at the table. You deserve hot food and warm conversation and people who actually want you there. Do not let anyone convince you that your worth is measured by how much you sacrifice for people who would never sacrifice for you. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. And sometimes walking away is the first step toward finding where you truly belong. So I want to ask you, have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Have you ever had to choose between your own well-being and keeping the peace? Share your story in the comments. You are not alone, and your experience matters. If this story touched you, please hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel for more real-life stories, and share this video with someone who might need to hear it today. Thank you for listening to my story. Whatever holiday you celebrate, I hope you spend it with people who truly see you and love you for who you are. Take care of yourself. You are worth it.